my first experience with trauma began when I was a teenager. And I came up here to spend time with my family, and at this point I stayed by my family member, and then he asked me to stay in the basement with him, to sleep down there. And that was when he proceeded to rape me. I didn't say anything to anyone. In fact, I thought it was expected of me. I thought it was normal. Many of my female family members had went through it. The men in my family had little regard for women. You expect love. They tell you that you're not worth anything. That's why I felt that the rape was normal, because if they could control how we live on a day-to-day basis, they could control what happens at night too. After the rape, I didn't think that I was important. I just didn't feel like I would make any contribution to the world. They would do better without me. At that point, I became a bit promiscuous. I didn't really care what had happened to me sexually. And then I met Dominique, and I think this was the first point where things started to break, where I actually recognized something was wrong. Dominique, he got angry. He got so angry. And then he was asking me, why aren't you angry? This is wrong. I didn't understand at first, but then it started to hurt. I started reading the Bible and thinking that I have to do good. I felt so much pain. Not pain only for me, but my sisters and my grandmother cried for over a year every night. Thinking that I had to go through that pain because I deserved that pain. I thought I had to suffer like God. I had to suffer. So I got accepted to my graduate institution, Michigan State. When I moved to Michigan, nobody was around me. I had to deal with me. Sometimes I would go through these things where one time I would dress like a nun and cover all parts of my body, and the other times I would want to be a porn star. As a nun, nobody would get to me. I would be able to protect myself. The other times with the porn star, I felt that porn stars were liberated. They could expose themselves in ways where they don't care about other people, and that's how I wanted to be. I didn't want to care about other people, and I didn't want to really care about myself. So at that point, I told my parents about what happened. My father, when I told him, he was so upset. My friend recommended me to this therapist off campus.
When you started therapy, can you tell me what changed for you?
It was fantastic because she allowed me to cry and to get angry, and I was so glad that I was able to share my feelings with her without feeling judged. That's when I had to start facing myself and figure out what I wanted to do for me.
It sounds like you became visible to yourself.
To myself. After I went through that depression, I started doing things that I love. For me, tea is all about reflection. To me, it's an experience of smelling, of tasting, and then being in company with people who appreciate the moment. And that's healing for me. And I also recognize that if I isolate myself, I just became more and more depressed. All of those feelings of feeling unworthy and insignificant, all of that shrouded me during that time, because nobody broke into that, because I pulled myself away from people. I have come to a point where I have learned never to sacrifice this. Because if I do, I would break with that journey of going to therapy, talking to people who really cared about me. And I think it has definitely made me more understanding of me and forgiving me. So now I understand forgiveness. Forgiveness now is accepting what I went through. Know that I was not at fault, and that though it caused so much pain, has also given me strength.